What is going on, Locks Mob, and welcome back to the Locks DFS NHL breakdown. I'm your host, Narang, and I'll be breaking down this three-game main slate that we have on tap on DraftKings for Wednesday, January 9th. Before I do that, let's talk about Twitter real quick. This is where you guys can follow me if you want to. I'm going to tweet about hockey, sports bets, football, basketball, all that good stuff. We had a really big day of sports bets yesterday. Again, we went 3-1 plus a little over 3 units. Close to up 9 units over the past 3 days. As you can see through here, this is our yearly recap so far since 2019. It started 17-8, which is good for a 68% win rate, which is crazy. I mean, like as a professional sports bettor, you want to win at around a 55, 56% clip. So as long as we're around there, I feel good. So being at 68% so far through this month has been a blessing. And NHL has been hot too. Members won on both sides again yesterday. We were overexposed to San Jose that scored 7 goals. A bunch of the high-scoring teams, a bunch of the high-scoring players. You guys know how we do. And so we're going to do it again for this 3-gamer. Really, really straightforward slate, though. Like, since it's only 3 games, I'll talk a bit about each game just in general. But as you can see, just based on the Vegas totals, we have a 3-5 versus a 2-6, a 3-8 total versus a 2-8 total, and a 3-6 total versus a 2-5 total. So 3 games, 3 big favorites. Those are probably the 3 teams that you're going to want exposure to. Maybe some Colorado versus Calgary, but aside from that, probably none of these road dogs, or I guess Chicago's a home dog. Probably not exposure to either one of them. So let's just get started with this Nashville-Chicago game. The biggest news here is the return of Filip Forsberg. He's been back for a couple games, but just that is the biggest news, the fact that Filip Forsberg is back. PK Subban is back as well. So this Nashville team is as healthy as it's been in a really, really long time. Obviously, Kyle Turris is still out, but they're deep at that center spot with Sissons and Bonino, both more than capable second and third line centers. So, yeah, I'm interested in all 3 of these Nashville. I'll say 2 of these Nashville lines, line 1 and line 2. I think Filip Forsberg's price on DK at 6.1K is certainly more than stomachable. Typically, he's like around 7K. And, I mean, he's usually never priced less than Victor Arvidsson, who's sort of like, I won't say the second fiddle because Victor Arvidsson is really good, but Forsberg is really good. So, Forsberg should be more expensive than Arvidsson is what I'm trying to say. So I do like getting some exposure to him. And then the defense, of course, Roman Josi seems underpriced at 5.8K. That's because he is. His upside goes down a little bit with PK Subban playing a bit more in the taking away some of his power play time. We won't see Josi stay on the ice for like the entire power play that he did sometimes when PK was out. Because actually prior to PK Subban getting hurt, he was the guy that they used on the first-team power play, and Josi skated with Ellis on the second-team power play. That has since changed. I mean, we still have Josi on the first-team power play and Subban on the second. But like I said, Josi's less inclined to stay out there the entire time. But I still think at 5.8K, he's probably the top defenseman. We'll get into a few more that I really like, but at 5.8K, I really like him. Not a lot of interest in the Chicago side of this game. I think Eric Gustafsson, for his role on the power play 1, is fairly decently priced. Aside from that, Dylan Strom's a guy I've been interested in because he skates with Patrick Kane at 5v5. But it's still not going there on this slate. But moving on to Calgary, this is a spot that I think Calgary smashes in. Calgary at home. Calgary in the past 10 days has been one of the more profitable teams if you just full stack that first line. I don't think you have to change anything right now. Colorado's playing on a back-to-back. Colorado is not opposed to giving up goals. They just gave up 6 or 7 to Winnipeg, which was a team that we had a bunch of exposure to yesterday, which is why we did really well. Shout out Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor. But, yeah, so I think I'm going to go right back to Calgary versus Colorado on a back-to-back. Obviously, I want to get as much of their first line as I can, as I think this Backlund Kachuk Bennett line will probably be tasked with chasing around McKinnon, which is fine. I mean, McKinnon obviously dominant offensive line, but they do struggle. They do have their struggles defensively, so it's not like the Backlund line can't score against them. I just think for my money, I'd rather try and find a way to pay up for this first line, even though they're the most expensive players on the slate. I think if you could find a way to pay up for them, they're probably not going to let you down in this spot. And then I guess I could touch on the other side of this game real quick. I think having Colorado exposure is fine if you think this game hits the over, which I think it probably should at 6.5. But I'm personally not too interested in Colorado on the second leg of a back-to-back. If you were to play a team like that's not Calgary, Nashville, or Anaheim, so you do want to play an underdog team, it would be Colorado for me. But I just really don't think I see any reason to go there. I think you can get away with just playing a bunch of good players from the high team total, big favorite teams. And I think that's doable because of Nashville. Not Nashville, because of Anaheim. Let's talk about Anaheim a little bit. So Anaheim is now really healthy. Their team has been banged up a crazy amount this entire year. It's really taken it's really reflected in their expected goals against per 60. But ever since they've gotten healthier and healthier, they've just sort of just like crawled back up the rankings as far as expected goals against per 60 goes. They're going against the team that has the worst expected goals against per 60, and that's even worse on the road, which they are. Second worst team is Chicago, so we got a lot of potential goals with Nashville and Anaheim. But I think getting a lot of exposure to Anaheim is actually a really sharp thing to do on the slate now that they're healthy. Maybe the public still has a perception that Anaheim is not a good team, but when they're healthy, and obviously they're still missing like Corey Perry and a few other guys, but they're a pretty good team, man. This Kessler-Silverberg line has good numbers. Getzlaf gets back Raquel, and we know how good Getzlaf and Raquel can be on that first line. And then these injuries sort of gave like Andres Cassie or Daniel Sprong, Pontus Aber, guys like that, sort of some confidence so that now they can like carry that over. I think Anaheim could be a good team in the rest of the season if they stay healthy. In addition, they got back Cam Fowler as well, who is their power play one quarterback. So he's the defenseman I really wanted to talk about in regards to Anaheim. I think getting exposure to him at 5.1K makes a lot of sense. Currently, DFO has Josh Mahura as the second power play quarterback. I don't envision that being the case. I'm assuming it'll be Brandon Montour and probably Hampus Lindholm on there as well. I just don't see why they'd have Mahura on there, and now that Fowler's back and you can still just move Montour down. But yeah, I really like Fowler at this price. I think getting Rickard Raquel at 5.4K is an absolute steal. I think I'm going to pull the trigger there. Pairing him with Getzlaf at 5.5K is all the same. Just way too underpriced for such a good matchup on a healthy team. And now Ryan Kessler is a guy who's been underpriced for a while now. He even reached min price a couple games ago, 2.5K. And he picked up 2.5 points, then 0, then 2 points. So if he puts up any of these 3 out of his past 4 games at 3K, you'll take it. And this is by far the best matchup he could ask for. So, yeah, going to be overexposed to Anaheim, Nashville, Calgary. And I'll just stay away from those road dogs. As far as the goalies go, go with one of the favorites, I should say. You can go with the Nashville goalie, road favorite. But yeah, I'd go with either the Anaheim, Calgary, or the Nashville goalie. So with that all being said, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. As always, we are running that same giveaway that we always do. So like, comment, and subscribe, and you'll be entered into win a free NBA, NHL, NFL, or sports bets, whatever you want, season pass. It's totally up to you. So go ahead and do all that. And I hope you guys win some money tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.